SPFS TV òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó. Bọ̀dá ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó. Àǹtí ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó. Ẹ̀yin àpẹ̀ṣẹ́ ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó. STV tómilẹ̀ títí tó ṣàprápra tó tún lè lálejò tó táwọn yọ. SPFS TV òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó. Bọ̀dá ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó. Àǹtí ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó. Ẹ̀yin àpẹ̀ṣẹ́ ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó. SPFS TV lórí YouTube subscribe. Ẹ̀kọ́ àgbẹ̀ tó yè kóró. Ìròyìn lóríṣiríṣi nípa gbígbọ́njọ́. SPFS TV òun ní ká máa wò ní.
Yes, it's another time to discuss agriculture on SPFS television this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Welcome on board and thank you for joining us again. My name is Olamide Teju Osho. You can call me Sisi Teju. Yes, this afternoon we are going to be looking at a branch of animal husbandry, or what some people might like to call livestock farming. Today we'll be discussing goat farming, the sustainable and management practices involved, especially for small-scale farmers. This beautiful Wednesday afternoon, and we have in our studios today a very experienced goat farmer. No, I mean that he has done a lot of things when it comes to goat farming, livestock farming, and he has the experience. So if you're the type that you like your yogurt, you like your milk, you like your meats, you like everything fresh, or you are just a little, a small-scale farmer into goat farming, this is the place to be right now. Please get your friends, get your family, get everybody to be on the show, because it's about to get enlightening. Everything about goat farming will be discussed on the program this afternoon with Mr. Ogunshua Ayotomiwa. That's the CEO of Atos Farm. When we come back after the break, he'll be here with us to get into business with us when it comes to goat farming. Do stay tuned and don't forget to like, learn, watch, and share. to SPFS Television. Let's talk Agric. As I said earlier today, we are looking at a branch of animal husbandry, and we'll be looking at one of the best meats for consumption. And where does that meat come from? It comes from goats, which people popularly known as Ogufe. So if you're an Ogufe lover and you have ever wondered where that meat comes from and why it is so sweet to consume, I'm sure Mr. Ogunsua Ayotomiwa will be able to do justice to that and give us why, the reason for that this afternoon. It's my pleasure to welcome you on the show, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming today. It's been a long journey for you today.
Yeah, quite a long one.
All right, let's start like this about goats.
Okay.
Goats as a branch of agriculture, goat farming now. Looking at it, what does it take to be a goat farmer? And let's look at how long you have been doing this. So you starting and where you are right now, what do you think it takes to be a goat farmer?
I think to be a goat farmer, what does it take? It takes commitment. It takes let me say discipline also. However, rearing goats is just from being a goat farmer.
Okay.
So you rearing goats might actually, it doesn't take much. You can just have your goats, you give them the leftover food. But being a goat farmer actually, it takes commitment. It takes discipline, and it takes should I say vision or passion. And friendliness, because goats are actually very, very friendly beings, so you have to be friendly with them. So I think those are the stuff that it takes.
Wow. No, you saying goats are friendly actually got me laughing, because many of us grew up learning to know goats as stubborn animals. Okay? There's even this particular song we used to sing when we were very young that that goats are stubborn. Now you say that goats are friendly. That's a contrary feature. Why do you say that?
Okay, I'll say this. Just like we have different humans with different personalities. We have those that are reserved.
Okay.
We have, at times you give birth and you have a child who is very gentle.
Yeah.
When you tell him sit down there, the child will sit down there. And nothing bothers him or her. It's just cool. Okay, take this, takes it. Nothing. A regimented kind of person or child. However, goat is not like that. Goats are not like that. They are very, very inquisitive.
Wow.
So that's why they are termed stubborn. They are this kind of beings that when they see something, they want to, what's there?
Oh.
When you guard them, they want to be like, why are you guarding us?
Amazing.
Like they want to go and like what's out there? They want to know why. So that's why we see them as being they are not actually stubborn. They are very, very lovely beings.
Wow.
They are very, very inquisitive. That's
inquisitive.
They are very, very
they are friendly too.
They are very, very friendly. By the time they get used to you, they see you coming, they have the way they bleat and like they are greeting you.
Yes, I even found out that goats, like dogs, they hear their names, and I find that really, really interesting about them.
Yes.
That you can call. I've seen older women wearing goats, and they call their goats Kalari, Ashake, Amoke. All those great names, and you wonder that how could they hear? It's to say that goats also have a very sharp hearing ability.
They are very intelligent. Goats are very, very intelligent.
Interesting.
They are very, very intelligent animals.
Wow, interesting. Now, let's get to the breed of goats. Okay. When it comes to the breed of goats, okay, how many breeds are there? And then when it comes to our Nigeria side here, how many breeds do we have? Looking at the different colors some of them have, you find out that some have longer horns, some have short horns. Is this as a result of their breeds, and how many are there? And which one would you say is the most advisable for rearing? For commercial purposes.
Okay. If we want to go to the number of breeds of goat that we have, if we start counting from now to like one hen, won't finish.
There's so much.
We have so many breeds of goats.
Wow.
That's just it. However, in Nigeria here we have different breeds. We have the West African dwarf. We have the Sokoto red. We have we have different breeds.
If you're talking of Sokoto red, is that the Misoro?
Yeah, the Misoro. Yeah, that's what we call the Misoro. So we have different breeds of it. But talking about which one is more profitable? Well, I think it depends on one's one's goal. It depends on what you're trying to do.
All right.
As I've said, we have the WAD. We have the ones that we have. WAD is West African dwarf. We have those are indigenous breeds anyway. So I think let me just read it. We have our indigenous breeds. We have breeds that are meant for meat production. We have some breeds also that are meant for milk production. So it depends on which one you want to go. For example, like, okay, you want to have a meat shop. You like definitely you go for the ones that the breeds that has a very high weight gain. A very high meat yield, which is meant for meat production. Okay, you're looking at going into dairy production. You got cheese and all those. Definitely, you go for the ones that have a high milk, production. So it depends on on which one you are looking at.
Okay.
However, if you are looking at the one that maybe you are looking at research and possibly you are looking at the ones that are disease resistant and that are very, very strong. Definitely, you look at our own indigenous breeds there. And however, if you are looking at the ones that have a high meat yield, the ones that have a high disease resistant what's it called? Disease resistant. Listen also, then you can look, maybe a crossbreed between the meat breed and our own indigenous breed here. So we talk about the Boa, we talk about the Kalahari, talk about the Savannah, different breeds. So it depends on the farmers or the producers vision, what you want to gain, your goal. That's what we direct you on which one to go for. Interesting.
Talking of the breeds that you've talked about, you are trying to emphasize that it depends on the purpose you want to rear for, whether for meat, for milk, or for research purpose. So that will determine the breed you will go for. Yes. There's something interesting about goats I need to ask. That is the smell around them, the odor. Some are so, oh my God, they are so smelly, looking at, you just get near some goats, you'll be like, where is that smell coming from? Is that as a result of the breed too? What's responsible for that?
Okay, goats don't smell. Yes, let me say that.
Please explain.
Animals don't smell.
Okay.
I tell people, fine. Normally we all have our distinct, just like when you go to a poultry farm, for example.
Yeah.
Either the poultry farm is dirty, so to say, or not dirty. Okay. There is this particular smell. There is this distinct smell that is associated with
poultry.
With poultry.
That's right.
With birds, with chickens.
That's right.
There is this particular smell. Or don't use what smell. Okay. Well, maybe smell. There is, or maybe aroma anyway. I don't use odor because some people think fine, odor is something bad, but some people feel odor is something bad, like something smelly. No, not that. So we have the ones that are associated with rabbit, the one that are associated with cattle,
right,
associated with goats,
right,
even the one associated with pigs.
Right.
You'll be surprised that. So if you're talking about that, I will take it. That's just their own being. That's their own formation. They have the ones, but not that they are smelling.
But there are some that are so very stinky.
No, that comes about. Talking about management procedures.
Right.
That's where management comes in. I've been to pig farms. Some people tell you pigs are dirty. Pigs are not dirty. It's the person hearing the pig that is dirty.
Wow.
That is the truth.
Wow.
Pigs are not dirty. Dogs are not dirty. It is those rearing them that are dirty.
That make them dirty, right?
In fact, goats happens to be, they are one of the beings, one of the animals that eats dirt most. Goats won't sit where it does pee or where it does poo. Goats won't sleep or goats won't eat its food when maybe when it smells urine or smells poo in it. It won't. They won't eat it.
Wow.
Fine, they might mess it up, and that's why there's a way you do their feeder such that they won't be able to mess it up. But immediately they mess it up,
they can't eat it anymore.
They won't because they are in Yoruba.
Wow.
They are that kind of you get it. They're that kind of animals. So they are not dirty. It is those that are managing them that are not managing them well, and that was why I give an example of pig. Some people tell you, whatever. No, pigs are not dirty also. If you've been to pig farms, where they have good management principles, you
won't
see
perceive any odor.
you get that, you're like, wow, are these really pigs? And the same thing with goats.
Wow.
If you go to farms where they are taking care of their goats very well, you get to know, okay, goats are not dirty. So when you go to a farm and it's like, oh, you're perceiving this bad odor from how many miles away, you should ask those that are taking care of that place, why is it like this?
Really interesting. It seems we're really trying to focus on the characteristics or the distinct personalities of goats, rearing goats. Now, I want us to also look at the issue of, the indigenous goat farmers, talking of our mothers, our grandmothers, who raised us up with rearing goats, we rarely find a home where they don't raise chicken, they don't raise fowl, they don't have turkey, they don't have goats, those days, unlike now, we are really experiencing a different thing. People rear more dogs than having goats around now. So let's look at those indigenous goats. Are they quite different from what you can rear on a commercial basis? Say you want to go into commercial goat farming, is that what you also rear, or is there a difference between the indigenous goats and the ones on the farm?
Thank you. The very difference from the indigenous ones, would say, is basically say as I've said, meat production, whatever. But the main difference is as a result of our own developed researches. There's nothing stopping us to have actually improved our own indigenous breeds.
Wow.
At the moment, I'm doing what? Most African dwarfs. Most times when I get fine, that was the time I tried crossing the what's it called, the Chukoto Bururu with what hair. But at the moment, I'm doing what? And the long-term picture, the long-term goal,
Okay.
I'm not going to dairy. What I'm going to is meat production. I have a meat shop in town
Okay.
where I sell poultry foods,
Okay.
freshly slaughtered and all that. And
Okay.
that's what I want to do with my goats. And the long-term goal is, okay, maybe later on, when I have them, I'm going to having 1,000 goats. That's the target.
Wow.
1,000 goats.
Wow.
I'm commercializing our word. Now, what am I trying to do? Meat production. Fine. This particular breed is very good with high meat yield, but has low resistance.
Oh.
This particular breed has an average meat yield, but has a very, very strong, disease resistant factor. Then we cross them.
Oh.
So I have a particular breed that has a meat yield and also good, that is very, very good when it comes to disease resistance. So that's what I'm trying to do. So when I have my word to a certain target in terms of numbers, then I can get maybe a male boa. Then you are actually very, very fine.
Wow.
But the main difference basically, as I've said, maybe the disease resistivity, the meat yield. However, I'll say this: we need to do more researches on our indigenous breed.
Wow.
You'll be surprised that I've seen videos, I've seen images where all these things that we are looking at, these goats are good. You get to some developed countries where they're actually working on them very, very well. Like they are. If you can go online, check how much they sell West African dwarf in the US. Check how much they sell it in the UK. So it's funny that some people use them as security now. There was one video I watched that I saw somebody using our home goat, our local goat here. I was like, wow, really? And then I saw the price and I was, wow. Our own listener,
indigenous goat for security
for this price.
Wow.
I said that's good. So we actually need to actually up our games in terms of improving our breeds. Take for instance, look at our local dogs, for example.
All right.
Do you know how much we spend on dog importation now? Even on goat importation now. There was a time, I think that was like a year ago. I was talking to somebody that wants to import these boa goats, and But I should tell you, it's very, very funny.
Wow.
I was told that a male boa goat, they will import it for 1 million naira. It's very, very funny.
Just a single.
Just
wow. 1 million naira.
Yes, and the female for 950,000 naira.
No.
So and then you know, at times you look at the cost benefits. This is talking about the how the weather condition here. But if you bring it down, you know, and it dies 1 million naira, God, how if it, well, however, you know, there are better ways that you can actually go about it. And we now have artificial insemination and some other ways that you can actually get the same result that you want to get. That So the main difference is basically the meat production, the dairy production, and also some of them the disease resistant. However, this thing, if we start doing, you know, improving our research and improving our breeds today, in the next couple of years, we'll achieve what we need to achieve. And as I was saying about dogs, I have a dog. I have a dog that guards the farm. If you know how much the dog costs. However, if you look at it, you get to know that our own local dogs here, they are stronger than these guys.
Right.
But it's not because of the years whereby we've left them in terms of research and development. Most of this, if you look at the history of these goats, history of these dogs, you know, they were not like this initially also before. It was, they were improved on over the years, and that's why we have what we have now.
Oh, interesting. All right, we are still talking with the CEO and the manager of Atops Farms. That's the president of Mr. Ogunshua Ayotomiwa, still discussing sustainable breeding of goats in Nigeria. You know, we're still going to focus more on indigenous farmers very soon, especially for our mothers, our sisters, our brothers who are watching, who are just rearing 1 or 2 goats, you know, behind their houses. You know, they want to look at some of the little things that you can do to maintain and manage your goat farm well, so that you can have more yield, more productivity as time goes on, especially as, you know, a lot of festivities will be coming in and people want to do Ileya, you know, all of those things. Before you know it, it will be December again.
Of course.
And people will need goats. And beyond that, people need meat every day, because meat is a good source of protein. And I recall that whenever, you know, I have a friend, he does not eat any other meat apart from ogufe. He will say, ogufe, I want, just give it 2 ogufe, and he's okay with his amala. And, you know, without these goat farmers, you cannot have ogufe. If you don't have goat farmers still rearing, you know, even the little that you are hearing, don't give up yet, because we are still going to be sharing with you some maintenance practices. Now let's get to the farm. Say I have maybe 2 goats, a male and a female goat, okay, that I'm rearing. Do I need to have a stall, a goat shelter, to rear, you know, a goat? And how much does it take? Looking at the circumstances in Nigeria now, say I want to start a goat farm, just something little, a male and a female goat. How much do you think it takes to start a small farm now when it comes to goat farming?
Okay, let me put it this way. You can start goat farming with as low as 15,000 naira.
Wow.
And you know the funny thing about goats is they are very, 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 very easy to maintain.
Easy to maintain. Wow.
Very, very easy to maintain. And they are not stressful. Okay. I do poultry, I do goats, I do rabbits. But at times when you look at it, you know which one is more stressful. They are not stressful. Goat shelter is not a big deal. In fact, they love to move about.
Okay.
So you can just have just a place where they can sleep. Or when it's raining, they themselves they go there.
Oh, because at least they don't like to be wet.
No, they don't like water.
Oh.
They do not like water.
Okay.
They don't like water. So goat is not the kind of animal that you say, okay, you want to build a duplex for, you want to build a mansion
or a story building.
They are very, very easy to maintain.
Okay.
And even what they eat also is not stressful. In fact, now that raising goats alone, like the fact that you're even rearing goats alone, is as good as you are a sustainable being.
Wow.
Because most of what you term as waste, and actually they will take it. Most of what, even on farm, you know, there's been a lot of debates now on, you know, on agricultural waste and all that.
Okay.
Most of the so-called agricultural waste, like, you give it to them, stump of okay, you just harvested your cassava, the stump, cut it.
Okay.
You know, you give it to them, you just harvest your
and
maize.
They feed on it.
You feed on it.
Wow.
Just harvest your maize.
Okay.
The stem of of the maize, shred it, make it into hay.
Wow.
Give it to them. They will eat it. They are fine.
Be fine.
They are fine.
Wow.
Leaves, fine. There are some other requirements. Just like humans, we have our protein requirements.
Yeah,
we have our
you need your balanced diet.
But what I'm trying to say is, most of them what we and waste. If you give it to them, they will eat it. So rearing of, and if you remember our mothers, if my from what I heard while growing up, my grandma was called I think she Yellen or Yeshua or something. So
okay.
you know, so and even my mom also, my growing up, my mom always had me wanted to go there, but you know, we always have it around that and all that. And you know, I remember that then we when we sieve pap, the shaft.
Okay.
You give it to them.
That's true.
They will eat.
Eri.
They will eat. They are fine. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe when you eat at home and then there is this leftover, you give it to them. They eat it. They are fine. You know, cassava pew. They eat it. You know, they are fine. But you know, that's more of the that's not the the commercial settings now.
Okay.
But at least doing that, they are fine. And once in a while, when it's like, man, there's no money in this house, so you just take one of the
And sell.
You sell and everybody's
And
fine
fine.
again. Okay, so it's even a sustainable way of living. That is the truth. Instead of you wasting. You know, most of our food wastage, do you know our volume of methane it produces? But you give it to them, they eat it. Then later on you get it's only a waste to wealth, you know, waste to wealth management.
Right.
That's the truth. And however, if you are doing them on, say you're doing them now on commercialized, you know, scale, then you look at some other factors talking about the energy, their energy, the protein content and all this. However, even doing it in that way, it's because we don't have we don't have a sustainable way of doing things. For example, now a cassava farmer, a maize farmer, after harvesting, they will spend most people spend money to look for those that will come and clear those things. And these are something that they can even convert. These are something that those are farming goods, livestock generally need. Right. You can actually convert it into feed for those guys. But however, thank God, however, we still must praise ourselves. You know, research is going, just like we need to actually do more. For example, there is something called high quality cassava pew. Okay. HQCP. Okay. That we now feed goats. It's just like the cassava peel. Just like normal cassava peel. But now it's now a bit processed. Whereby they remove the cyanide content, they process the bead, they pass it through it, then they make it a pellet form, mash form, give it to them. You know, they eat. They are fine. You know, we now have maize now. We now have we now have goat formulation. Just like just like we have the feed formula for fish for poultry. We now have for goat also. Wow. That puts in their energy, the energy need, their protein need, and some other micronutrients. So we are doing fine. Just having to just double up our pace.
Interesting. You know what I find interesting about all of what you just said is about the goat formula. So beyond Itailubo, beyond Ekposhu, goats now have a balanced meal, a balanced feed. Interesting. We're going to take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll get to discuss more about doing indigenous goat farming well, the sustainable breeding and management practices to be put in place to have a successful indigenous goat farm. Okay, and don't forget to drop your comments. Maybe you're a goat farmer. Okay, you have a goat farmer around you, your mom is a goat farmer. Please drop your comments and let us know some of the challenges that you are facing. If you have any question, we have an expert here to deal with all of your questions. Please drop your comments and let us know where you are watching from. We'll be right back after the short break. Thank you. Thank you, Hope you enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, it's interesting.
níṣẹ́ ti gbọ́ SPFS TV tómilẹ̀ títí tó ṣàprápra tó tún lè lálejò tó táwọn yọ. SPFS TV òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó ọ̀dà ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó àǹtí ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó ẹ̀yin àpẹ̀ṣẹ́ ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó. SPFS TV lórí YouTube subscribe ẹ̀kọ́ àgbẹ̀ tó yẹ kóró ìròyìn lóríṣiríṣi nípa agriculture. SPFS TV òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó ọ̀dà ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó àǹtí ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó ẹ̀yin àpẹ̀ṣẹ́ ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó. SPFS TV lórí Facebook SPFS TV lórí YouTube SPFS TV lórí Instagram for your agricultural programs lóríṣiríṣi àgbẹ̀ ọlọ́sìn ẹja oríire ti dé ọlọ́sìn adìyẹ má ṣe mí kan rárá. SPFS TV òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó ọ̀dà ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀. àǹtí ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó ẹ̀yin àpẹ̀ṣẹ́ ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó. mo níṣẹ́ ti gbọ́ SPFS TV tómilẹ̀ títí tó ṣàprápra tó tún lè lálejò tó táwọn yọ. SPFS TV òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó ọ̀dà ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó àǹtí ṣó ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó ẹ̀yin àpẹ̀ṣẹ́ ti gbọ́ òun ní ká máa wò ní tilẹ̀ tó kó. SPFS TV lórí YouTube subscribe ẹ̀kọ́ àgbẹ̀ tó yẹ kóró.
Still, let's talk Agric on SPFS television, where we're still discussing goat farming business with Mr. Ogunshua Ayotomiwa. As an experienced goat farmer, as I said, you must have been, if you have been following the conversation, you find out that he's really an experienced person. And we have so many people joining us on the show this afternoon. We're going to take some comments very quickly. People who have joined us on the show today. We have Damilola Alamo saying, nice one, good job. Thank you, Damilola. Samuel Tunde Oyedinro, he has been here some time ago. He's saying, well done, boss. Goat farming is interesting. Management is the key. He's trying to re-emphasize what you have said. Management is the key. This one is coming from our guest from last week, who also told us he's also into livestock farming. We're so glad you're joining us again, Mr. Oduola Mubarak Ayodeji. Thank you once again. He says, well done. Goat farming is a serious business that people are not paying attention to. That is why we're having this show, so that people can pay more attention to it. This one he's also saying that Boa or Kalahari red, maybe for commercial farming. He said crossbreeding with, he also crossbreeded with what? Okay, the progeny will be beautiful for such purpose, for especially meat production.
You have a fantastic,
interesting.
You have a fantastic one because you have what's it called? You have a breed that has a high disease resistance. It also has a high meat.
The resistance is Boa, right?
Okay, no, our own word.
Okay, it's disease resistant.
Basically, what that means is that they are not susceptible to the disease. Right. Diseases that comes around to goats.
Right.
These Boa, they are not our own indigenous breed. So they are not used to our own kind of weather, the kind of stuff that are here. Right. And they also improve breeds. Okay. Let's not forget.
All right.
So by the time we cross our own world with them now, so you have a breed that has both features. Okay? Right. Let me say, just like when an African lady marries an Onyibo, she get her. So you have some stuff that what's it called? You have some strains that African, maybe strength, agility. Right. Then you have some that are
Okay.
also of the white, maybe the skin color, some other things. So that's just the concept behind
Interesting.
this crossbreeding.
All right, let's get back to our indigenous goats.
Okay.
Talking of as I've seen some situations, especially with mothers, rearing goats. I don't know why men are not into rearing goats in the household. So I'm particular about our mothers right now who might be watching the show.
Okay.
Now, it is about the sudden deaths of goats.
Okay.
Just find out that some goats get sick, and then the next thing, 2-3 days later, the goat is dead. Some with pregnancy, some about to give birth, some while giving birth. I want us to look at some of the issues that might surround the sudden death or sickness in goats. Talking of we are going into management now. What are the things that we can do to prevent such situations, to manage such situations, and if there are emergency medications that we can do, that we can always have in our houses, in our store houses, or in our stores, or in our goat farms, to say, and the next thing, the goat is dead. How can we, prevent such situations?
Okay. Well, I would like to say this first.
Okay.
I'm not a vet doctor.
All right.
But
Yeah, I know.
I would.
But you are an experienced farmer.
So I might be a bit conservative with my words.
All right.
When it comes to that. But the general management principle, I think I can talk about that. That's fine.
Okay.
Now, I'll say this. Goats are like children. They're like child also. If you give birth to your child and the necessary drugs, routine drugs,
vaccination
they're supposed to give,
okay.
you're not giving, legs or not, anything might happen. And when you have one that you feed well, you give what's supposed to be given. Definitely, you have a level of assurance that at least I've done my best, I've done my bit.
Okay.
As I've said, my own grandmother reared goats. My mom also did. However, I'm not doing it the way they did it.
Okay.
That's just it. Way back then, I could remember my, growing up. Then, what do we give our goats? Cassava field. Maybe raw one, maybe wet one or dry one. Or, you give them maize shafts.
Yam peels.
Right. And all those stuffs. I'm not saying we still don't give them now. But what I'm saying is, to an extent, we have improved because these goats also they have additional needs. Now, for example, thank God, we to an extent, I think the poultry industry is more in the know. So I want to use that industry as an example.
Okay.
If you get a bed now, and you give your bed Gary, like you have a bed at the end, and you give the bed Gary.
Okay.
And you have another bed, you give the bed or the chicken the right feed that the body requires, whether you like it or not. In the next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, when they are ready for slaughter, you
will be weightier.
You will know the difference.
Oh, right.
Is it that one dies on the way, and even if it doesn't die, you will know the difference in how healthy they are, and also in their weight gain, and so also with goats. Most of our our mothers, in their own little way, they are fantastic. They are awesome.
Right.
But let us forget that they didn't do it as a business per se. It was more of should I say, maybe more of passion, or more of let's just have something at hand
in case of emergency.
And the truth is, passion and knowledge. The person with knowledge will always overshadow the person with passion. The person with passion at first will be like, but by the time they get to a junction, or they get to the test line,
right,
the person with knowledge would actually and that is it. So there are some laid down principles for goat rearing.
Okay.
They have their own body requirements. They have their own energy requirements. They have what they need to survive. They have their own medications.
Okay.
We're talking about even ordinary multivitamin. You're surprised that you talk to some people that are rearing goats and they tell you that they've never given their goats any drugs. Now, most times, at times some people will do it and the goats will not have any issues,
Right.
which is great.
Okay.
Because they are ruminant animals, and they are very inquisitive. They go out. At times,
eat poisonous leaves.
They eat poisonous leaves, and at times also they eat leaves that actually build their resistance, that builds their immune system.
Oh wow!
That is, because also we're talking about antibiotics. We also have some plants that we call phytobiotics.
Wow!
So at times these goats, they know some plants that are very, very medicinal to them. Talking about moringa, talking about sadrata, talking about dongoyaro, talking about some of these plants. So they eat it. So it actually builds their immune system. So that at times that's why some of them don't have issues. However, due to their inquisitive nature, some of them will go
and they will eat what will purge them.
It won't purge them. They will eat what will make them bloat. They will eat poisonous stuffs. And if care is not taken, they may die. Now I'll give you an example.
Okay.
There was a time I was not around. I traveled and I came back then. I think I met one of my goats almost dying. At that point, I called the boy doctor and this that. He said, okay, let's just kill it before it dies.
And sell the meat.
We didn't even sell it anyway. It's one of my homes. So okay, no problem. So now, what am I trying to say? So this time we got to know that the goats actually ate lion, swallowed lion.
You mean a lion?
Nylon, like
nylon.
polythene bag.
Oh, interesting.
Nylon, that's what we call it. The polythene bag.
Okay.
Now, what am I trying to say?
Oh no.
This is something that they've given injection, giving antibiotics. But on a good day, if I had known what I know today, then I'm talking about maybe like 3 years ago, but then we were still
testing waters.
Possibly, you could have taken the go to maybe a vet lab, scan and all those stuff.
They will have operated it.
Of course.
Wow.
You can operate your goat, and it was very, very funny. I won't lie to you, because at the point the goat was no longer urinating. It was a male goat.
Oh no.
And a very, very stud. And the guy managing them, give him. So because of that, that was something very, very minor.
Wow.
They could have just operated the goat,
remove the nylon, and then
it back.
he would have continued with his life. Wow.
So, however, what we even make goats swallow nylon? So it's because of funny thing about goats, they will eat paper. They will eat cardboard. There is actually nothing they will not.
They will eat charcoal.
They will not try their mouth on. So they are very, very inquisitive. So these are some of the mistakes that our listeners. So, and also talking about the routine drugs. Well, I'll just say this. For the indigenous or for the culture, I remember that then there's this thing about palm oil.
All right.
That whatever, just give the goat palm oil and low and be good. It's
once in a while.
For preventive, it works. Charcoal also works.
Charcoal
also works. But you wouldn't want to try that when you're having a large, head and for commercialization.
Right.
Except possibly there is a way that you can actually integrate it into their feeding system.
Okay.
But however, when you feel like because I've tried before. I think there was a time we released our goats. Then they went to feed on a place that just been what's called sprayed with herbicides.
Oh no!
Like, wow, what is this? So I called on my vet doctor. Bro, this happening. I said, oh, okay. I said, before I come around, just please get this. And it was what my own mom used to use.
That's palm
oil.
oil.
So palm oil.
You force it into their
yes.
Okay.
Force it. We give them a lot of palm oil and charcoal.
Like how many? Talking of the quantity.
Just give them palm.
Do you measure per spoon or cups?
Then we're trying to save the situation. I can't even remember, but I know that we gave them. Maybe I'll say maybe one over 8 of a bottle.
Okay.
To them and
does that make them purge or what or vomit?
No, it tries to stabilize their system.
Oh, okay, to stabilize the system.
Then charcoal has this what's called charcoal has this adsorption property, such that it tends to take poisonous take poisonous stuffs
from their body.
From their body.
Okay.
And I think there's this drug it told me to get there. I think is he attraping or something before just to stabilize, just like first aid.
Oh.
So attraping. So we got the attraping, gave the goats before he then came around and stabilize them.
All right.
So the thing is, if you are doing the backyard farming, I would say make sure you always have iodine, make sure you always have palm oil, make sure you have charcoal. But if you are doing if you are doing full goat commercialization, definitely you must have a vet doctor. That you must have a vet doctor, and that's one of the issues we are facing here in Nigeria. The goat sector is still in the is still not yet matured yet. We have few people that actually gone into full goat commercialization,
right.
and we need that. We need that's the truth. Nowadays now, a lot of people are now getting into fine. So before we know a lot of people know about goat meat, but now the awareness is now getting bigger.
All right.
The demand,
the demand, right?
getting higher now.
Right.
You go out there and you see asun. Everybody wants to go to
For
meet. Everybody
small
wants
events, parties,
So
they're doing it.
everybody wants to go to meet asun. Everybody wants to eat goat meat with. Especially in Ibadan, everybody wants to eat amala and
I know,
olufe.
right.
So we need more people to go into the commercialization of goats. I remember that was the time, because most time when my goats kid and you upload it, come and sell. This thing is beautiful. Sell it. I said, for now,
We're not selling.
I'm not selling I'm still multiplying my breed.
Okay.
I'm still breeding. And if I slaughter and I sell, most times it's actually stuff that I buy from the north. Right? So for now, I'm not selling the ones that I'm breeding. I'm trying to multiply it. When it gets to a stage, and I can also when I can comfortably say, okay, per batch I can sell 200 because I can. When you're selling one goat, okay, you sell one goat, you sell two goats.
You're not a commercial farmer.
You're not in business. But I want a farm where people can call you and say, okay, I need 100 goats of 3 months.
Wow.
I need 200 goats of 3 months, maybe for research, maybe for something. Then they can come to me. That is when I know, okay, I'm actually into goat business.
Farming,
Not just I'm doing goat and I'm selling one goat, I'm selling two goats, another. But for those that are doing that, it's not bad. It is good.
Okay.
But as I've said, just for me, it's the goal is different. That's not my own goal. My own goal is to actually commercialize goat farming. Whereby in a batch, I can say, okay, this particular batch, this maybe 2023 batch A, 200 goats were given birth to. So anybody that needs pure breed of West African dwarf, they have it. Okay, you want the one that has been crossed with you have it. So and that is the goal.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing some of those principles and of course some of your ambitions with us when it comes to goat farming in Nigeria. I need to ask you before we start wrapping up, especially about the features of a goat. Okay, for those who are doing small-scale farming now, I'm so concerned about them because I know a lot of people are watching this live program right now, especially about how a goat should look like normally under normal circumstances. What does a goat look like, and how do you start to know that this goat is not okay? What is normal and what is not normal in a goat, especially the breed you're talking about, the wad, the popular breed, which is the wad. So what is normal and what is not normal?
Okay, for goats, definitely we all know how goat looks like, but some signs to watch out for. Now, a goat must be active at all times.
Active?
Yes.
Whether male or female?
Yes. A goat, whatever makes you point at a goat, and you can hold the goat.
Okay, without chasing it. There's something is wrong. Oh, wow.
So a goat must be active at all times. Even when you want, they, as I've said, they are very flexible. However, they have this high level of alertness.
Oh.
Even when you want to feed them and you want to try to hold them, there's a way they tend to move to the right and they're trying to dribble you and
dodge you and everything.
And also, they are high. At all times, they must have this sharp and bright eye.
Wow.
The eye must be sharp and bright.
Okay.
And they must have a very smooth fur.
Commando.
Yes, smooth and shiny fur. When you see the skin, of your goat, or the four, and it's looking as if maybe it's peeling, or it's looking rough, it's looking, then definitely you know there is problem. Some of these things actually point out to different diseases, but this just make sure their four is bright, is smooth. Make sure the high is also bright.
All right.
And make sure their goats are always at alert. That goats are always
active, always at alert.
They're always ready to play and ready to eat.
Interesting. All right, we've been having a very interesting conversation on the show this afternoon. Let's talk Agric with Mr. Mr. Ogushua. Mr. Ogushua Ayotomiwa, the CEO and manager of Atos Farms here in Ibadan. And we've been looking at so many things about the farm, talking of goat farming, talking of how to do it well. And in Nigeria and wherever you find yourself, he just talked about some normal and abnormal things that you find out in a goat. When you see a goat, you find out that some things are normal, some things are not normal. And it's about time that we start wrapping up. I just need to ask this question about why some goats ram into each other. You find out that you have maybe a dozen of them, like you're looking at hundreds, 1,000 of them on your farm. You just find out that sometimes some especially the male goats, they start ramming each other, they start headbutting each other. What can be the reason? And they say it in Yoruba that so how can you stop it? Because it has gotten to a point where they actually injure each other, they injure one another, they even kill. They injure to the extent of the other one getting, into a very messy situation, and then it can lead to the death of the other. So how can you prevent head ramming, head butting in your goat farm?
Well, the truth is, it's not limited to even male goats alone. Even the female ones. One, goats are territorial.
Wow.
Then two, they have this alpha, these supremacy what's it called, supremacy fight. Most times
so they do it. How do they know that somebody is older?
They do it. In fact, a male goat, when he sees that, doesn't want any other male goat to challenge him. These are my ladies now. What are you coming to do here?
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. These are my ladies. What are you coming?
These are my babes. Are you serious? Wow.
The point about goat is one male goat can serve 20.
Oh God. Wow.
Yeah. So so these are one of the things. However, if you have a large flock, it's advisable most times that maybe you keep some of the males, keep them separate. Okay. Yeah. The one that you need to service the male, you can leave that one in the midst of the males, in the midst of the females, and definitely you do not the pregnant ones, especially when they want to maybe when they need to sleep or eat, you should put them separate. Okay. So that they don't injure the pregnant one or the ones that are still that have not even weaned. Okay. So that the place that the way that you. However, it's basically this. But immediately you acknowledge that I accept that you are the alpha male. All right. Most times it's just about the ego. Just like it's in every animal actually. If you bring in if you introduce another animal, another goat into their flock that maybe they are not used to, who is this one? What are you doing? What do you want to come and do here? By the time they get used to the person, then later the males. It's even in Turkey. It's even worse in Turkey. If you rear turkey, it's worse in Turkey. And
peacocks.
Yes, they can fight and kill. Wow. Yes, they will fight and kill. Especially when you have females around, because they all want to mate the female, and the one down will be like, oh no, it's for me, oh no, it's for you, and fight. So basically, keep the males in check, keep them apart. The pregnant ones, keep them apart. And the ones that are still that have not been weaned, keep them apart.
And they will be fine.
They will be fine.
All right, now that you mentioned the pregnant ones, how long does it take for the gestation period for a goat, and then what can be some of the abnormal circumstances around a pregnant goat?
Well, for goats, 5 months, 150 days.
At most.
Yeah, 150 days. And if you have a good breed, goats are wonderful animals. You know, they give birth to you twice in a year.
How many kids can you have at a go?
Well, it depends. You can have one. You can have at least one. You can have as high as 5, 6. It depends on the goat. If you have a, but on the average 2, 3. On the average
2, 3.
Goat.
Wow.
So it depends on the breed. There are some. I once had a goat that had four kids. 4 kids, and you know.
Okay.
Now
I'm sure it's still reserved for your farm.
There's one I had that in fact, there's this one that I had that has been giving birth, and the funny thing is, all of our own offspring, they are forced. They are forced. They give it to kids, two kids, and that's a very, very good one for me. That's very, very. And there's even one that I was told that they're trying to separate this one has 4 breasts, and with that there's a high probability that this one will still
will have more kids. 4 kids. Interesting.
So
Interesting.
That is that.
Okay. Well, finally, let's look at the issue of maturity. How do you know? Because for people like us who are large consumers of ogufe, how do you know? Because you taste some ogufe, there are some that are really, really sweet. I mean, they are so sweet. And then you taste some other ones, you're looking at it, what makes a mature meat? What makes a mature goat that is suitable for consumption?
Okay. It's a two-way thing. All right. We have the weight and we have the age.
Weight and age. Yes. All right, thank you.
So, for example, now for a male goat, when you say okay, a male goat is matured, it should be around 9 months, 1 year. Yes, around 9 months, 1 year. And at that,
so
that's basically some of the things. However, especially for the improved breed, you know, you have the weight that maybe our own word would get to in
9 1 year.
They might have gotten it in 5 6 months.
Oh wow!
So basically those two, and commercially you don't look at age. Commercially you look at weight. Commercially you sell with weight.
Sure.
Not with age.
Sure.
Except if maybe it's for research purpose, or maybe they tell you okay, we want so age. But when it comes to slaughtering, you look at weight.
All right, people, you agree with me that 1 hour is not enough to discuss everything about goats this afternoon. We are just doing a little bit of what we can do today to look at some of the issues, especially principles to sustainable breeding and management of goats in Nigeria. You know, I'm sure you've learned something very fantastic on the show today. I have enjoyed this conversation, you know, as an Ogufe lover, as a child to a mother that rears goats. You know, I've learned a lot of things on the show this afternoon. I want to say thank you to you all. Chichi Gloria is saying hi. She's talking about Obuko. Maybe she rears goats. So she's talking about Obuko from her comment on the show. I want to say thank you very much. I want to say thank you to our guests on the program. Thank you for taking your time out to, you know, I was talking to him before coming, then he said, yeah, it was in Abuja. I was doubting if he could make it today, but he's here today to honor our invitation. And on behalf of the executive manager and the producer of the show, that's the person of Mr. Oluwatobilowa Otunton, I want to say thank you for coming. I want to present to you this little.
Wow.
It's something little.
No, this is not little.
Something little. Please accept it
with
love from us. We hope that when we call you some other time,
definitely
you will eat to our call. Definitely. Of course, we still need to talk about the dairy goat farms.
Definitely.
We'll like to have you some other time. Thank you so much. I want to say to greet your lovers, your farm people who will work to you. You can mention them, just greet them as they have tuned in to watch you on the program today.
Okay, I think I would like to say, first and foremost, I would like to thank you to the SPFS TV team.
Thank you.
Thanks for the invite. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure, you know, to talk about Agric. Yes, we're looking at having more people in the sector.
Yeah.
Because a nation that cannot feed itself, it's in crisis. So we need more people to come on board so that we can feed Nigeria, we can feed Africa. Yes, and also extend the good hand to other continents also, and to the lovers of Atos farms, to my friends, my colleagues, my mentors, my senior ones, everyone that tuned in to watch this program. I say a very big thank you. We keep doing great. We keep making Nigeria and Africa proud. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Atops, CEO of Atos Farm, Mr. Ayotomiwa. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this episode. It's going to be a long holiday period for you next week. It will be time for you to get serious with your farm. Go on your farm, check your plants, check your crops, check your goats, check those animals, make sure everything is in normal, is in the normal position as it seems to be. All of the things that we have talked about on this program, please, you can go back on those videos, fall back on those videos to check for any information. Let's Talk Agric on SPFS Television. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Till next week, please make sure that you keep growing, you keep cultivating, because agriculture is the mainstay of our economy. And if we don't do agriculture as a nation, we'll fall into crisis, as Mr. Ayotomiwa has said. Thank you, and God bless you. Till next week. Bye.